I've seen things you people wouldn't believe.
All right, welcome back everyone to episode number 66 of the Best Thing We've Seen podcast. My name is Flo.
And I'm Gabe. How are you?
There it is. Yeah, I'm okay, man. Refreshed and ready to go.
Beautiful. At least I'm not the only one this time. I'm fine.
Yeah, you sound surprised.
Well, I haven't done much today, so I feel kind of bad that I keep procrastinating my uni stuff and shit like that, but it just felt good to lie in bed all day. I'm not gonna lie.
I get it. How was your week in terms of watching things?
All right. I mean, we talked about it last week, that we were looking forward to a movie, or we were planning on watching it. And I have just watched one other thing besides that, so it was a slow week for me. How about you?
Right. Well, it's going to be an interesting week because I don't know if I want to give this away just yet, but I think we'll talk about it once we get to our picks. But I don't have many things either. But we'll have some interesting things to discuss, I'm sure.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, before we dive into it, I have to mention one thing that is regarding probably my most anticipated movie of the next couple of years, which is one we talked about many times. It's the Knives Out sequels, right?
Oh, okay, yeah.
And I don't know if you heard of this, but they keep releasing new cast info because they're now in the casting process. And obviously, Daniel Craig is back, and they recently announced that Dave Bautista is going to be in it, who is turning out to be one hell of an actor, or he's turning out to have one hell of a filmography, that dude. I mean, he's going to be in Dune, and he's been in Blade Runner 2049, and, many great things, Spectre, whatever. He's like one of those wrestling guys that actually managed to turn out a really, really good acting career so far.
Yeah, and apart from the other wrestlers, he actually seems to be able to act well.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, and obviously has Drax in the Guardians movies.
Right, yeah.
I like him a lot. But
he's a cool dude.
Yeah. The reason why I wanted to talk about the Knives Out sequels is not Dave Bautista, even though he is great. But obviously our last special was Edward Norton, and a couple of days it was announced he's going to be in the sequel.
Oh, wow, okay.
Which I think is a fantastic addition. I cannot wait to see him in that movie.
Yeah, I think we talked about it even on the special that we would love to see him in more comedy things. Yep. And
I mean, he must have heard it. He must have heard it and, called Ryan immediately.
Cast me out.
Yeah. And after that, it was announced that, God, I'm going to butcher her name now, but it's Janelle Monáe. Oh, I don't know if that's right.
No idea.
She was in, I'm sure I mispronounced that name. She was in the NASA movie, with the
Hidden Figures.
Yes, thank you.
Right.
Hidden Figures. I'm just typing it in because I want to see if it's Janelle Monáe. I think that's right. She was in Moonlight too. She's going to be in it. And then it was announced that Catherine Hahn is going to be in it. I mean, come on now. I love her. I think this is turning out to be one insane cast.
But any of the other cast members reprising their roles, like Keith Stanfield, for example?
Maybe. I mean, he has a shot, but I don't think any of the family is going to be back.
Yeah.
But they're going to start shooting it in the summer in Greece. So I think it's also obviously, it's a completely different story. I don't think it has anything to do with those characters from the first movie. I can't wait for this, man. And I don't even know if they're cast for the next two movies or if this is just the cast for the next movie. I assume so.
Well, we'll have to see who the murder victim is this time, or even if it's going to be a murder case again.
I would think so. Yeah, I just hope, and there's now these Twitter polls of who should be the next, who should they cast next or whatever. It's such a great cast. I saw one person saying Andrew Garfield. I was like, my God, that would be fantastic. Because he recently talked about him. I would love it. He recently was asked if he's going to be in that new Spider-Man movie, because there's all these rumors of every Spider-Man being in it. And he literally said he's not going to be in it. Believe it or not, I don't know. But yeah, I was thinking like, what's he gonna do next? I would think that would be brilliant if he joins the Knives Out sequels too.
I mean, he's a good actor, but every time I hear that he is cast in something, I'm always hesitant for some reason. I don't know why, but I do like him. I mean, when I see his movies, like for example, The Silence or Hacksaw Ridge, he's always great. But I don't know why. I just in my brain, he's just not one of the great actors that I want to see on screen. But every time I see him, I'm blown away.
I think he's tremendous.
He's great, yeah.
Obviously, Social Network and Mainstream, I talked about a couple of months ago on this podcast. I think he's incredible. But obviously, he's not in it, so that's just wishful thinking. Yeah, yet. Right, I just wanted to get that out there. I think we just keep mentioning Knives Out every couple of weeks to see, to get closer to the release.
Well, it's gonna be one hell of an episode when it's finally gonna drop.
Yeah, it's probably gonna be bad. I saw that Dune is going to premiere in Venice soon.
Oh, really?
I think that's going to be a physical, is that right? But it's going to be a regular like film festival, and it's supposed to be there. I think that's the premiere.
Yeah, I mean, it does seem like things are getting back to normal, and I hope we can both get vaccinated sometime in the summer, so we have a chance of watching this together in the cinema. Because I think it's just going to be one hell of a different experience to see it on the big screen.
Sure, but I think the cinemas are opening back up in 5 days.
Sure, but I don't want to go now, to be honest.
I'm looking forward to it. I'm going to go. Yeah. For sure. But let's talk about our picks of the week. And please tell everyone how this regular episode of the show works.
Yeah. On this regular episode, we're going to talk about the best thing that we've seen all week. Anything fairly new, anything that released in the last 6 months or so, plus minus a couple of weeks maybe. And yeah, it can be anything from a movie to a TV show to even a YouTube video. We had a couple of those. And yeah, sit back, relax, and I think it's my turn to start.
It is.
And I don't know, how many things do you have?
I got two things.
Okay, I'm going to assume we're going to have the same quote-unquote honorable, because I don't think it's going to be a pick.
I was very interested in if this was going to be a pick. I had no idea. I don't know you anymore. Yours? It's definitely not.
Oh, okay, good. Yeah, because we both watched The Woman in the Window today, which released, today, May 14th, when we record this. And it's a Netflix original movie with Amy Adams and one hell of a cast. And I was looking forward to it just because it's Amy Adams.
Yeah.
But what a shit movie. I'm sorry to say this, but it's not a direct adaptation of Rear View Window by Alfred Hitchcock.
Rear Window, yeah.
Yeah, but it's pretty much the exact same plot with a couple of things changed. I don't know how they got around not crediting the original movie.
Well, it's even, they show a scene of the movie in the film.
They do, as an homage, but...
I think so, right? I think that's that movie.
I would assume so, but I don't know why they have to remake old movies with a bit of a different plot. So, I mean, it's a well-regarded movie. It's not like it was a shit movie with a great idea, so they want to improve on that. There's no need to rehash the story. I think everybody knows. I haven't even seen the original, but I know the story in and out by now. And yeah. Yeah, please.
No, I mean, I think it obviously, I'm going to now nitpick, but I think it is an homage. I don't necessarily think it's a remake. I don't think they have to like list the movie as like the original, because it is about someone who watches other people from their house. That's not like...
Yeah, but...
You know what I mean?
Also like confined to the house in the original movie. I think it's due to the main character's leg being broken.
Yeah.
But here it's because she is, I forgot the medical term.
Agoraphobic.
Agoraphobic. She's afraid of leaving her house, which is pretty much the same exact situation then, right?
Sure.
Plus she has the camera and all those things.
Yeah.
But if you somehow managed not to ever hear of the great Alfred Hitchcock classic, to kind of give you a little glimpse of what the plot is about. It's about Amy Adams' character living in a house, being afraid to go outside, and then new neighbors moving in, and she kind of gets to know especially the son and the wife of the family. And then one fateful night she watches the wife being murdered, or so she thinks, because nobody believes her due to her having some kind of trauma and using a lot of medication and being not completely mentally stable. Yeah. And they butchered the whole fucking story. I didn't know what they did. I mean, Amy Adams is not bad.
What do you mean they butchered? Are you familiar with the book it's based on?
Fair enough, I'm not, but the way they just did it, I don't know what it is about this movie, but it just seems so wrong, you know?
My dad told me recently that he's reading the book, and it's amazing. And apparently Steven Spielberg called it like one of those books that you can't put down. And I mean, I told you I was not anticipating this movie. I didn't think it was going to be great.
Fair enough, yeah.
Then I watched it today, and I actually enjoyed the first 30 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
And I was surprised as to how much better it was than I thought it was.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't hate the movie. I really don't. And when you asked me if it's my pick, and I said definitely not, that sounded a bit more harsh than I wanted it to be.
Okay.
But I just don't think it's a good movie. I think it just, even some of the acting in it, I mean, I love Amy Adams, but some of the scenes I really thought, like, what is going on? Especially towards the last 20 minutes.
Yeah, right. It suddenly turns into this very, very C-B movie type of horror movie, you know? So very over the top and so cliche. And
yeah,
I mean, they got such a great cast.
Yeah.
Like I said, they got Amy Adams, Gary Oldman, who previously worked with the director who's done some great movies. They worked together on The Darkest Hour, the Churchill film. And they got Anthony Mackie, who we talked about recently with Falcon and Winter Soldier, Julianne Moore, Wyatt Russell, of course, also on Falcon and Winter Soldier. And once again, very unlikable, that dude. Can't catch a break.
Yeah.
And Jennifer Jason Leigh, I mean, the cast is crazy, but they did nothing with it.
The kid who you mentioned,
Fred Henninger, I don't know how
Hedinger?
to
I don't know.
Hedinger, yeah. From News of the World. And what's the other one?
8th grade.
8th grade, sorry.
Yeah. Oh, that's the sequel.
And they even got Paperboy, which is nice to see him. Brian something.
What do you mean?
The Paperboy from Atlanta, the actor who plays the cousin of Donald Glover. He's the detective in this movie.
Oh, yeah. Brian Tyree Henry?
Yeah.
Something like that?
Exactly right.
Yeah, it's a sick cast, and I didn't even know of all of them being in it. I knew Gary Oldman was in it, and I think that's about it. Amy Adams, obviously.
Me too. Yeah.
I saw someone put a review up on social media that I thought was really good.
Please.
Because it sums it up rather well. It's by Matt Neglia, who's one of those guys who's been tremendous in helping us out from the very beginning. I told you about him many times. He's the guy who retweeted all of our stuff.
Right, yeah. Nice guy.
He's got a great podcast too, Next Best Picture podcast. And his review of The Woman in the Window is this. The Woman in the Window feels like it wants to be a modern-day Rear Window made in the precise style of, here you go, David Fincher. And I mean, it looks insanely good, the movie, I thought. Apart from those horror-ish scenes that you talked about, I thought the lighting was really, really interesting in that movie and cool. But he says, in the precise style of David Fincher, but there are too many cracks in this one. None of its pieces, as gorgeous as they are, cinematography, score, set design, and cast, ever come together to create a satisfying and coherent whole. It's all shattered. Don't cut yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, it's easy to sort of copy those words, but I think he's spot on with this.
Yeah, I mean, but although the cinematography is quite good in this, I think they're just those very awkward moments. For example, when she has this big realization and the shot looks like it was framed for the movie poster, where she is just standing in the middle and everybody's perfectly standing to the side, so you can see everybody's faces, and they just stand very still where she has a realization.
Yeah,
it seems like an album cover or something like that.
I don't think that's a bad thing. I think it's a beautiful shot.
Yeah, it just doesn't fit the mood, you know.
I actually thought the score was really good, and then like 2 minutes later, the score I thought was really terrible in another scene. I loved it when Julianne Moore leaves the house for the first time, leaves Amy Adams' house and goes back to her house. There's great music. I love everything that's like dissonant, and it reminded me so much of the Social Network score, which I keep bringing up because it's just my favorite score. And then a couple of scenes later, when Amy Adams is looking through her camera at the house, sort of an investigation part of the movie where it's like suspenseful and cool and blah blah blah. And I thought the music was just so off-putting in that, just like 30 seconds or however short it was. I don't know, man. It's just all over the place.
I gotta say, I only remember the music from the end, but after watching this movie, I of course looked up some trivia because what else do I have to do?
Sure.
It was apparently supposed to be scored by Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross, who then the movie got delayed for various reasons, I think including COVID, and then they left the project, and now it was done by Danny Elfman, who I very recently only discovered his music career before he became a music scorer. Is that the word?
Yeah.
Great
Composer,
music. Yeah. Oingo Boingo, what a band.
Dude, but that I did not know that, but it's very interesting because Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross, they did the Social Network score, and it reminded me of that. Maybe they had like a temp score that they worked with, and then Danny Elfman sort of, I don't know. Well, they
could be. Yeah.
Were they involved in it at all, or no?
Not as far as I'm aware. I mean, they were attached for a while, but I don't think they wrote anything for the movie, or at least they didn't say anything about that.
Right. Maybe they helped him or something. I don't know.
Maybe.
But obviously one guy we forgot to mention is Tracy Letts as the psychiatrist who wrote the movie, which was a surprise. Yeah.
I didn't get that.
He's obviously Henry Ford II in Ford vs. Ferrari. And we talked about him recently because he wrote and directed August Osage County. And he wrote The Woman in the Window. Obviously, he adapted the book.
Didn't know that.
Yeah. And he's in it in a little part. But I don't know, man. The twists and turns of this movie, I don't know. They sort of all left me cold. Yeah. I mean, I don't necessarily think they were bad. It's just, I don't know.
They were okay. I mean, I didn't predict the movie, but I had like 5 years going on my head, and some of them came true, which just left me. I mean, I didn't see yet that exact thing coming, but you're never like shocked, you know. It's like, oh, okay, that seems, I don't know, the adequate twist for this situation. I don't know.
There was one jump scare that completely frightened me.
Which one?
With the hand coat on the window.
Oh, okay.
With the what? With the coat?
Yeah, where she goes down into the cellar and like the coat hanger falls down, or something like that.
I don't even remember that. Oh, that was a coat.
Laundry.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I know what you mean. I didn't even realize what that was. I thought it was someone attacking her, but then it was just something falling down or something.
Yeah, because it was so weirdly shot, and there's so many unnecessary jump scares in there just to tensen up the mood. Yeah. But because you talked about the hand on the window when some brutal things happen, I mean, I think it kind of told you what happens in the plot. There's weird special effects of blood being sprayed, and it looks more like a Quentin Tarantino movie or a cartoon or something like that.
Yeah.
So such weird choices for style. I don't know.
Yeah, I agree. I didn't hate it, but it's weird.
Yeah.
It's weird. I was not sure what you're going to say about this film, but we seem to be on the same page.
Yeah, it just got worse as it got on. I don't know.
Yeah. I think the visuals are great, though. I think it's a really well shot movie.
Yeah.
And yeah, I don't know what else, man. I think no one has a lot to do other than Amy Adams.
Yeah, which is weird because Jennifer Jason Leigh is a big actress.
Yeah.
But she has like 5 minutes of screen time, it feels like.
Yeah.
And barely any lines.
But her first scene I thought was really cool.
Yeah.
I love the way that was shot too. Yep. As I said, I made it sound like I hated the film more than I actually did. But I was watching it and it was the only thing I had seen. Well, no, that's not true. That's not true. So I thought this might be my pick. I was sort of, I knew I would just have one thing, and then I'm like, because I am watching a show currently, and I was going to talk about that next week. But now I'm like, I don't want to pick The Woman in the Window as my pick. It's not because I don't want that to be the best thing I've seen.
Yes, the
trailer. But so now I decided I'm going to talk about the show that I haven't even finished yet. But it's sort of, there's so many things coming out now that we're going to talk about in the next couple of weeks. So I don't have to postpone that for next week. I'll talk about it now. And I don't have to pick something that I didn't really enjoy as the best thing I've seen.
Yeah, but is the show not finished, or are you not finished with
No, I'm
the
not
show?
Finished with it.
Oh, okay.
I'm not finished with it.
I got a guess, but
who
knows?
We'll see in a minute. But what do we have to say to wrap up The Woman in the Window? I mean, you were really looking forward to this, right?
Yeah, just because of it. It was Amy Adams, and then a couple of weeks ago, I was like, okay, this is coming out soon. I Googled it once again. I looked up the director a bit more, and I do like most of the movies that I have seen from him. But yeah, it just felt so off, and I don't think this story needs to be done once again. I think Disturbia is a much better take on the whole genre.
Yeah,
which is a direct adaptation of the original, not on a movie. On a book that is the movie, I guess. You know what I mean.
I know what you mean.
But yeah, I gotta say I was disappointed, and it just gets worse as the movie goes on. But yeah.
I saw someone tweeting that Amy Adams should look for a new agent. Obviously now Hillbilly Elegy, now this.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. She had like so many great movies a couple of years ago. But now a couple of misses.
She has got a lot coming up as far as I'm aware. So,
well, hopefully they'll be better than the last two.
They gotta be. I
also hated the ending, like the last 5 minutes. I'm like, that's just such a why this now? Like why? I'm trying to stay vague. But why is everything the way it is now?
Yeah, it seems like nothing had any consequence, right? As everything was solved by the end, although this was some heavy shit, But
yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a weird one. But
yeah.
What is your pick?
My actual pick is my safety movie that I watched just in case Woman in the Window didn't pan out. And it released, I think, like a year ago in the US and about 6 months ago in Germany/Austria, which is Escape from Pretoria.
Is that the Daniel Radcliffe one?
Exactly.
I love it.
And it's not bad. It's not bad. It looks pretty bad from the poster, in my opinion, but it's an interesting story. It's a true story of two activists in South Africa that got arrested during apartheid for protesting apartheid and get sentenced to prison, I think 12 and 8 years. And as soon as they're there, they are planning to break out. And it's a very classical escape movie, very much along the lines of Shawshank Redemption. Not as good, but well made. And I have to say, I wasn't sure what to expect of this movie, and the story and the dialogue is not like immaculate in any way, but what it does have is some very, very tense scenes of, are they gonna get caught? And I have to say, I watched this in my bed since my TV is across from my bed because I got a very small apartment. But as the movie got
okay, it's interesting side notes. What were you wearing?
Well, something I think I'm pretty much wearing always, which is pajama pants and a t-shirt. I think my underwear was
Jesus
blue.
Oh, okay.
No idea. But yeah, as the movie it got more and more exciting, I just got closer and closer to the screen because I had to like really sit up and I don't know, really want to pause the movie over and over again just because I couldn't take the tension. I mean, I hate those scenes and I absolutely love them.
Yeah.
Where it's he has to, for example, he tries to make keys to escape, to unlock his cells, right? And so he works on a couple of mechanisms to do so. And then, of course, the unthinkable happens. He drops one of his keys.
Yeah.
And he has to get them before like the guard comes around the corner. And Jesus fucking Christ, I felt like Daniel Radcliffe in that scene. He's like completely shaking.
Yeah, it sounds great. I've heard good things about this movie. Yeah, as you said, the posters looks just terrible.
Mm-hmm.
And the movie's sort of supposedly much better than the poster suggests.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's a interesting topic. And just the fact that it's a true story makes it even crazier.
Yeah. Is anyone else in it that we might know?
And Daniel Webber is his co-star, but
okay.
I was so fucking sure that it was Paul Dano just from the cover. I don't know why. He looks like Paul Dano with a beard.
Well,
and so I was very confused in like the first 5 minutes, and waiting for Paul Dano and then seeing Daniel Webber.
Well, but Paul Dano is in the other prison escape thing show.
There's another one.
What's it called? Escape from Dannemora or something like that? From Ben Stiller? With Benicio del Toro?
This sounds amazing.
It is supposedly insane. I don't know what it's called. It's a show.
New release?
It's like a year or two ago. Escape at Dannemora, 2018 actually.
Oh wow, gotta check that out.
Yeah.
But apart from that, Ian Hart, which seems like a name that might be known, but I didn't really recognize him from anything. But apart from that, I think it's pretty much no-name actors, or at least for me.
Yeah.
But like I said, it
is Robert De Niro in it by any chance?
in a very small role.
Yeah. You always forget his name.
But like I said, it is set in South Africa, so the accents are very thick, and I had trouble understanding everything, especially from one prison guard. And there weren't any freaking subtitles on Amazon Prime, which was quite infuriating because I had to keep rewinding, and I still have no idea what he said to this day.
Is Radcliffe putting on a South African accent too?
Yeah, but not as thick.
Oh,
I think he does a good job.
Does he?
But it's hard for me to tell because, well, I'm not South African.
Sure.
And I mean, it's got some elements of like British dialect mixed with, of course, other languages. But I would assume at least some of the actors, especially I think the prison guards, are South African because their accents are very like thick and sound very authentic.
Yeah. I mean, you saw that on Prime, you said?
Yeah, I rented it, I think, for whatever, $4.
Yeah, I don't know if we have a trailer. I looked it up while you're talking, and this like the trailers are all like from weird movie trailer YouTube things that we don't really have access to. But I don't know. Have you contacted anyone regarding the trailer?
I haven't even thought of this because I was like, oh, okay, this is a good movie, but I was hoping for Woman in the Window.
Yeah.
Which, didn't work out.
Yeah, we will see. Maybe we can insert a little clip of it here, but I doubt it.
Well,
you need to react as if we just heard one. Yeah, great.
Escape from Pretoria. Here it is. And probably you just heard a long pause. That's all right.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's my pick of the week. I was surprised to. It wasn't on my radar at all. I was just flipping through Prime once again, finding something cool to watch. And there's some other things that I would love to talk about, but I just didn't have time, and I think we're gonna get to it next week, I thought, but it might be your pick right now.
No, it won't be.
Okay.
I know what you mean, and I have not watched that yet.
Okay. So what is your pick of the week?
So my pick of the week is, as I said before, a show that I've been watching, but I didn't anticipate it being the pick this week. So I'm only 3 episodes in, 3 out of 8 episodes, and it's called The Innocent. Or, I mean, my Spanish is not good enough to pronounce that name. I'm not even going to try. I think it's The Innocent. It's a Spanish crime drama show that's on Netflix, and it's on Netflix since the 30th of April, so 2 weeks ago. And I didn't have this on my radar, but when I saw it and saw that it was directed by am I gonna attempt a Spanish pronunciation again?
Please do.
Well, it's I think it's Oriol Paulo. Right. Yeah, I don't know.
I think so.
I mean, if I was to pronounce that in an English way, it would be Oriol Paulo.
No, let's stick with the Spanish version. What's the German version of that name?
the Oriol. Oriol Paulo. And he's one of my favorite directors in the mystery thriller genre, and he's done a couple of really, really fascinating, twisty Spanish movies over the past few years. And I think you've seen one of them, which is The Invisible Guest. I remember us talking about this movie, and you were surprised that I liked it.
Invisible Guest? I don't recall.
Maybe you haven't seen it, but we've definitely talked about it, and maybe you saw it on Netflix and didn't watch it, and were surprised that I saw it or something like that.
When did it come out?
2016.
Okay, because I only see the Spanish title. Contratiempo.
Yes. And he's done other films like...
Great ratings, Jesus Christ.
Yeah. I forgot. Oh God, what was that? I'm not going to butcher all of these pronunciations. One of those movies that is one of his more well-known ones is also The Body, which is another. And that's why I wanted to watch The Innocent. It's based on a Harlan Coben book, which is another author I'm somewhat familiar with, but only because, once again, my dad has, I think, every single book of his in the bookshelf.
Okay.
And so that combination was interesting to me. Good crime author and directed by a Spanish director that I really, really like. And it is about almost impossible to tell you what it is about because it has so many different storylines. But the main guy is sort of a guy that accidentally kills someone during a fight in a nightclub. Somewhat young guy, like maybe early 30s. Or I don't know how old he's supposed to be. The show also skips time quite a bit. But he pushes someone in a bar fight, in a fight outside of a club, and he falls and breaks his neck and dies. And he goes to prison for that for 4 years for, I think it was, involuntary manslaughter. And then there's a different murder case where a nun seemingly jumped out of a window. And what this show does is basically every episode so far, I've only seen 3, as I said, it tells you the backstory of one character, of a different character. And they all obviously intertwine at some point, even in the first 3 episodes, because the guy who went to prison is sort of then suspected to be the guy who pushed the nun out of the window. But the first episode, you get the backstory of the main guy. The second episode, you get the backstory of the police detective who works on the case. She used to be in that, when she was a child, she was in that home where the nun worked too. So she has connections with that. Then the third episode, you get a backstory, or the fourth episode, I started watching the fourth one now, you get a backstory of one guy who seemingly abducted one guy's wife. And it always starts with them introducing themselves, but talking about themselves. I think it's in the third person. They go like, your name is Flo. But it's me who tells it. Like it's like I'm telling you my backstory, but I'm going like, your name is Flo and you've done this and this. It's a weird thing, but I haven't finished it, but I'm sure it's better than The Woman in the Window.
It's gotta be.
And not necessarily to say that Woman in the Window was that bad, but I have enjoyed the first 3 episodes a lot. And it stars the same guy who was in The Invisible Guest, and I think one other guy was in it who's been in every single movie that I saw of the director. And it's fun. It's fun, twisty goodness. I mean, all of these guys, all of Paulo's movies have so many twists that it's almost ridiculous. I could not tell you the story or the reveal of anything that I've seen of his. Well, maybe the main sort of plot, but there's so many reveals that you almost can't keep up with it. And I'm sure that's what's going to happen with this show. I mean, the first 3 episodes, I have somewhat of an idea of what's going on so far. But I'm sure there's going to be so many twists and turns, and I'm excited for them. I mean, I could play you a trailer, but it's in Spanish. I wouldn't even know what clip to include.
Yeah, I want to mention it as well. I mean, we can still do it. I mean, maybe we have some Spanish speaking listeners. If so,
yeah, I know that Leon. Let's shout him out one more time. I know that he actually speaks Spanish. So,
oh, really?
Yeah, just for him, we can include it.
All around great guy, apparently. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, let's run a little clip of. I think I need to look this up because obviously it's El. I'm not going to butcher it. No, I'm not going to butcher it, but I think it's in English. It's The Innocent. Yes, it is. I just wanted to look that up. So here's a little clip of The Innocent.
Te llamas Mateo Vidal. Nunca pensaste que un hombre podría volver a nacer 2 veces. Pero tú lo hiciste.
¿Embarazada?
Sí, de 4 semanas.
Pues si nos vamos a mudar, mejor que sea pronto, antes de que me empiece a crecer la barriga.
Siempre me pareció extraño cómo reapareció Olivia en tu vida.
Olivia, ¿estás ahí?
No puede ponerse.
¿Por qué no puede ponerse?
Eso tendrá que contártelo ella.
El destino.
Otro accidente del destino. ¿Cuántos accidentes del destino crees que te tocan por vida, Matt?
Te llamas Lorena Ortiz.
la inspectora de homicidios más joven del cuerpo.
Es un suicidio de manual. Se tiró por la ventana.
¿Motivos por los que quisiera suicidarse? ¿Problemas con alguien?
Era una gran devota. La hermana María era una santa.
¿Preparada?
Te llamas Teo Aguilar. Tú decides qué historia quieres contarle al bebé que esperas. La que te has fabricado o la que intentas ocultar.
I have no idea what we just heard. No idea.
I assume some Spanish.
Yeah, I need to I need to cut it at some point where the music fades so that I don't like cut him off mid-sentence because I wouldn't know where to cut. But yeah, I mean, would you enjoy this? I have zero idea.
I think so. I mean, it sounds interesting. When you started talking about a show, I assumed at first that you were either going to talk about the second season of Love, Death, Robots.
Sure.
And then when you started saying that it's something Spanish, I thought of The Serpent, but I think it's Italian, actually, that show.
Yes, it's also on Netflix, right?
Which is a big hit right now, yeah.
Yeah. Is that Italian?
I think so. I think it's set in Thailand, but I think the main guy is Italian, but it might be in English.
Yeah, I don't know.
I have no idea.
Yeah.
But yeah, interesting. I mean, I do love a good twisty show, I think, as long as it, I don't know, doesn't get ridiculous at some point.
It does. And
okay.
For someone who doesn't speak the language, I think Spanish, and I can only go from these movies that I've seen.
Mm-hmm.
I just cannot believe that people talk like this. And I'm not talking about the language. I'm talking about the way they interact with each other and the way they pronounce everything. It's like they're in the most dramatic fashion. And obviously, I know I'm watching fictional work here, and it's supposed to be, you know, it's made for the audience to follow along, but it's just unbelievable, man. I would never, ever talk like this with someone. I mean, maybe it's also just bad subtitles, but my God.
But the thing is, I mean, of course, yeah, it's a piece of fiction. Who knows how dramatically they act? But the thing is, languages and how some languages kind of evolve does kind of influence how you speak it. I think I speak in a different manner when I talk in English than I do when I do in German.
No, for
because
sure.
it's just such a different vocabulary and whatever.
Sure.
But, yeah, sorry.
No, but what I mean is it's difficult for me to explain it because I haven't figured out what it is exactly. But it's just like, and once again, I can only go from the subtitles. Maybe it's not the most accurate subtitle, but it's just like saying each other's names at the beginning of every sentence.
Yeah, okay.
You know what I mean? It's just like there's casual ways of talking to each other. You don't have to be like, you don't have to make it sound like there's like you're recorded and it has to sound the most pristine or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's hard to tell. I've had the same feeling watching more and more Japanese movies lately.
Yeah.
And also slowly I can recognize some words, so I do know when they kind of fuck up the subtitles sometimes.
Yeah.
But I also notice just how over dramatic some are, and I think others aren't. But it's just so hard to tell how people actually speak that language. I think from what I've seen, how actually from interviews. But I don't know. Every time you see somebody speak, they're in front of a camera, so they kind of put on a face. So it's so hard to tell what is legit and what is them trying to sound overly polite or overly dramatic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, for sure. Yeah. I mean, I would, for you, I would recommend one of his movies first. And if you enjoy those, then I would say watch the show. Because it's obviously much more confined. It's like 1:40, not like 8 hours or however long it is.
Are his other movies also on Netflix?
I don't actually know. I think the Invisible Guest, I would assume it is. I know that...
yeah. Watch on Netflix.
Yeah.
Interesting.
That one has great ratings. I kind of figured that movie out before it wanted me to. So I have like... I don't love that movie as much as as all the other people.
Mm-hmm.
But the body is great. And the one that I saw recently, I keep forgetting to look up what it was called in English. Mirage?
Mm-hmm.
Is that
idea.
Is that an English title? Yeah. Mirage? What's how do you already say that word?
Mirage.
Durante la tormenta. I sounded Italian there. I don't know how. I don't know.
When did it come out?
2018.
2018. All right. Durante la tormenta.
Right. That sounded good.
Yeah. Durante. Okay.
That one's not as great.
Okay.
So watch
the ratings
The
are also
Body.
good.
Yeah. I would recommend The Body.
Doesn't have any bad ratings.
Yep.
Christ. Good to know. I mean, that's like a director that I never like recognized his name.
You have to
like paid attention to him.
Yeah, you have to buy into his ways of making movies. You have to know what you're getting yourself into. That's what I'm trying to say. Because it is over the top. It is twist upon twists. But I'm a fan of those. So I enjoy his work tremendously.
The posters are pretty cool on Netflix when you look them up. The different faces and different forms of like decay as if they were a piece of art.
From which movie now?
Standing around it. From The Innocent.
Yeah, The Innocent. Yeah.
Cool.
It's good, man. And I wanted to sort of finish it, obviously, to talk about it a little bit more in depth next week. Mm-hmm. Not obviously without spoilers, but I wanted to see where it's heading before I talked about it.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm sure once I finish it in the following episode, I'll talk about it a little bit more. But I just when I finished Woman in the Window, I was like, we've had it before where we picked something that wasn't great because out of necessity, and I was thinking like, what else could I pick? And then I'm like, I can just talk about The Innocent now and not just not wait a week.
Yeah, I gotcha. I mean, I was also thinking about a movie to watch just for safety, which was The Kid Detective. But then I thought, I mean, you did talk about it, but it wasn't your pick. We had this situation before.
Yeah.
Who knows? It might make an appearance later.
How dare you make that your pick?
Somebody's gotta.
Yeah. No, for sure. You would enjoy that movie.
I hope so.
It
just looks so fun.
Yeah. Yes. And obviously, I mean, there's not just that. I mean, there's a lot of interesting things coming out nowadays. Yeah. We got a couple of good things. And you mentioned one, obviously, Love, Death, and Robots, but a couple of other things that I'm interested in. And obviously, the movie theaters are opening back up too. So they're showing interesting things that we've not been able to see so far.
I mean, if we go back to the sneak now or in the next couple of weeks, we might have a shot of getting an early viewing of Minari, Promising Young Woman, whatever else we missed the last couple of months.
Yeah. I mean,
the big classics.
I looked up some of the release dates here, and it's insane. The Father is end of August.
Yay!
But Promising Young Woman is in June, I think.
Right. I think Minari or something else is also in June, if I'm not wrong.
We're getting A Quiet Place too in a month too.
Which we should have gotten like a year ago, which is crazy. I
think just about when the pandemic started, it was supposed to come out.
Yeah, in March. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think so. And also, what is up with Black Widow? Any news on that when that's gonna finally release?
Soon. That's on Disney Plus, but it's one of those shits for $20.
Those Premier Access shit.
Yes.
Fuck you. Fuck you, Disney
Have
Plus.
You still not watched? Have you still not watched Raya?
No, but in like 2 or 3 weeks, I finally can. I think it's on June 4th.
Okay.
Which is I'm not gonna break now.
We're slowly but surely getting the good releases now. Hopefully.
Yeah.
If everything.
And I think. Yeah. In the autumn and fall, I think we're pretty much head to head with the American releases once again, with like Dune and whatever else.
We'll see. I mean, some of the movies still take a lot of time to come over here, but hopefully.
Right.
That's it.
Pretty okay episode.
Yeah. No Woman in the Window pick, but yeah. What would you give that movie out of interest?
I give it a 3.
Oh, you think it's that bad? Okay.
I think it's that. I thought it was okay at the start, and then I just stopped caring towards the end. I just wanted it to be over.
Yeah. I thought
what
it was.
What would you say?
Well,
the rating
like a 5.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't think it's that bad. And once again, to wrap it up, I think it looks really cool at times. I like the feel of it and the look of it.
Yeah.
But that's about it.
It was just kind of wasted. Yeah.
Yeah. And I did like well, actually, I'm not going to say it because that's a little bit of a spoiler. It's okay. It's okay. Right, that's it. Thank you for listening, as always. And in 2 weeks we have a special that I'm excited about. But next week, another regular episode, hopefully, with a little bit. We did enjoy the things that we picked, but hopefully, no disappointments next week.
Yeah, and I think hopefully a promised trailer next week. Hopefully, Escape from Pretoria works out, but if it doesn't,
yeah,
I don't know what to
we
say.
have one trailer where we're not sure if we can get the trailer, and the other one is in Spanish this week. So one hell of an episode.
It's more sophisticated.
Yeah, for sure.
Right. So thank you so much for listening to us rambling for another 45 minutes. It's been fun. You can check us out on any podcast platforms, of course, like Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, etc. Check out our thumbnail. You can see that at Best Thing Radio on Twitter and Instagram. You can also see it as our, of course, thumbnail on YouTube. Consider dropping a like, a subscribe. Thank you so much for stopping by. Maybe you want to tell us what the best thing that you've seen all week. And we hope to have you as our guests next week once again. And I'm also very much looking forward to the special because it's something that I love, but it's just, once again, so many things to watch, and I haven't watched anything so far, but it's going to be an interesting 4 or 5 days before we record. So,
for sure.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.